let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude.
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you here on the 23rd of June. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushladio.com or on the Rush Radio Android app, good to have you here this morning. We appreciate you taking the time to tune us in. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave your comments in the comments section, and play along with the community right there live. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and, of course, Instagram. Good morning, Ross Peterson. How are you doing there, sir?
Doing great, buddy. What you knowing?
Well, right before we go on the air, I mean, no kidding, like 3 seconds before we go on the air, the phone line disconnected. So during the next break, I'll reconnect the phone line and try to get us back on the air that way. So it was, it's just like, really, technical difficulties? Really?
Yeah.
Really? You drop out on me?
So
But,
we had the ominous music. We should have known something would go down. No big deal. We don't normally get phone calls here in this first segment anyway.
No, that's true. That's true.
Not a big deal.
Let me be like the 55th person to tell you happy birthday, by the way. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much
for you
for that.
This weekend?
Older than I was on Friday. 47 years old now.
Wow. Do you feel more distinguished? Do you feel a year older? Do you?
Nope. Birthdays are weird to me, man. We all have them. You didn't accomplish anything. I'm got my friends together yesterday. Courtney sent out a text to a bunch of my friends, and then my brother ended up hosting it. We were going to meet at my dad's house, and then ended up going down to my brother's house down in Carlisle, and probably about 15 of my buddies showed up. We had a great time, hung out, my flag made tacos, and did some swimming, BSing.
Was it old-fashioned kegger? Did you have a keg down there?
Didn't have a keg. No. There were some beers. There was some whiskey flying.
Now, the day your birthday was actually Saturday, and you were the happiest dad in the world. I texted you happy birthday, and you called me almost immediately because as soon as I texted you happy birthday, your son hit a grand slam in a baseball game. You know, you were talking about Mark Charter a couple weeks ago when you were there when his son hit his first home run. One, was that Eli's first home run? And two, I take it's his first grand slam.
It was his first grand slam. It was just the first inning. It was my birthday. It was a memory. It was really cool.
Did you get the ball?
I did. I ran to the ball.
All out sprint. Like there's.
Well, I wasn't going to sprint. But then Brock and Sadie, the two little athletes that are there, they started kicking up, right? So we're down that first leg, and all of a sudden I look over my shoulder, and here comes Brock. He's sneaking up on me. Brock's moving, right? And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. I can beat Brock. Brock's like 6. I got his little ass, right? Sadie, I got to worry about. Sadie's like 12. Sadie's long-legged. Sadie's an athlete. I see Sadie out the gates. I'm like, uh-oh, trouble. So then I put it into my high gear.
And you got it?
I got it.
Did you have to push any kids? Was this like the...
Didn't have to fight him. No, didn't have to fight him. I did. I went Michael Johnson for a little while. I went broad-shouldered. You know what I mean?
Running like a thoroughbred.
Yeah. I did all of them. I had enough time. Eli hit it so far. I had enough time. I went Adrian Peterson. I did the Eric Dickerson.
Stiff arm.
Yep. And then I went full Michael Johnson at one point because I knew I just needed speed.
You probably reminded me. Is it at the Reds games or the Phillies games where they put the flash in the?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about in the innings.
Yeah, I looked like the 47-year-old guy trying to race the Flash.
Well, I'm glad you won. That's all that matters, that you won. And you gave the ball to Eli, I take it.
And then he gave it back to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he sign it for you? Did you say,
No.
"Can I have your autograph, son"?
No, here's what happened. Last night, I'm laying in bed, and I heard him like hollering for the dog. And I'm like, hey, Eli. He's like, hey, I go, what'd you do with that baseball? Did you keep your Grand Slam ball? And he goes, yeah, I think it's in the bottom of my bag. Why? Do you want it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Someday when I die, you're going to be cleaning out this house, and you're going to go, "What is this?"
And it's going to say Grand Slam on Dad's birthday.
Which it should.
And he'll go, cool, and throw it away.
No, he won't. No, he won't. He'll keep it for because he'll appreciate the ball more when he's in his 20s, 30s, and 40s than he does right now. Right now, it's just a baseball. When he's cleaning out your house and he's putting you in a casket, he's going to be like, "Dad, here's the ball."
So next weekend will be his last weekend of playing USSSA baseball. This really could have been his last year could have been his last year, but his birthday falls in a position that he was able to play with the boys that he'd played with before again. And man, so it's weird that he's on the high school team but still doing this USSSA team. He's one of the very few kids that are doing that.
Yeah.
But this weekend was this full circle moment for me with this, because youth sports is hard, Travis. It's really, really, really hard. You know this. You were lucky, I think, with Owen that you were just on the cusp of when it got crazy. And you were lucky enough to still have a municipal league to let him play in that allowed him to grow and have fun. Man, it was hard. It was hard to find a place for Eli to play baseball where he could get the opportunities. When he was very young, his group of buddies were really good. And that meant Eli got to play left field for 2 innings and hit 8th or 9th in the lineup and maybe get an at-bat or 2 a game, right? Mm-hmm. And baseball wasn't fun. He didn't like it. And he played for coaches that didn't build that love in him at all. And I think when he was about 10, 11 years old was probably the year he was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And by the grace of God, man, a girl that I had grown up with and knew that went to Southeast Polk, Katie Bigler's her name. Her husband, Chris, had decided he was going to start a USSSA team and basically put out there like, hey, we're just doing this to have fun.
I remember this.
Do you guys want to join this fun team of, a couple of friends will put our kids together. Chris will coach it. My other buddy who was an MMA fighter, Justin Butler, he signs up. I'll be one of the coaches, and Justin could hit a softball 9,000 miles. I'm like, well, hey, maybe this guy will teach my kid to hit the ball hard. And I remember calling Chris and saying, listen, man, Eli's no world beater. Like, he's just a kid that likes to play baseball. He needs an opportunity. He doesn't want to play outfield and sit the bench. And Chris said, bring him out. And like a week later, Chris called and said, dude, your kid's really good. He's one of the better kids on our team. He's going to be our first. He's never played first before, but man, he's 6 foot tall and 10 years old. How come he's not playing first? I don't know. All right, we're going to put him at first base. Everything started with that. He started hitting home runs. He started getting confidence. He wanted to get back into wrestling.
He blossomed.
He had these coaches that said, we believe in you. Not his dad. Man, I'm grateful to these guys. Like, I see that stuff in my son. And so that's why when they wanted to run it back and play one more year, I said, yeah, I will sit through 94-degree Saturdays and love it. And so,
it was hot this weekend. It was hot this weekend.
Yep. But boys won a championship. Eli hit a grand slam, had a lot of fun with his friends, and then we went swimming Sunday night. So
that's
awesome. fun weekend, man. I had a meal on Saturday night, dude.
Really?
man, I'd never been to this place. And it's like, it's been here for a long time. It used to be called Cafe de Scalo. Now it's called Aposto. It's like fine dining. It's in an old house over by Sherman Hill. So it's in the Sherman Hill neighborhood. It's one of those old 1800, Victorian mansion type homes. It was awesome. Had a wonderful meal. So that was Saturday night. Had a great day Saturday. What epic birthday.
I was supposed to come up. I got an invite to your birthday party, and we kindly let Courtney know we couldn't make it just because if it would have been like a 1 o'clock start, it would have been perfect, right? 5 o'clock start, I'm like, we're gonna get home a little bit too late. So,
dude, and we were, because Eli played into the championship, Courtney's son played in the championship. I was, I think, the last one to show up at my party. So I'm glad you didn't come over. I'd have felt really, really guilty had you.
It's okay. I'd have been, hey, Ross, happy birthday. We got to go now.
See ya.
We got to go now. We got to drive 2 hours home. High five. And it was going to be in Carlisle, too. So that would have made the drive even longer. But again, good birthday weekend for Ross, which is really, really good. NBA championship last night. Tyrese Halliburton was having a game. He was having a game in the first quarter. He was 3 of 4 from 3-pointers. He had 9 points already. He kind of gave a little pump fake, was going to drive to the hoop, Ross, and you could almost see his Achilles rupture. You watch the replay and you're like, oh, most Achilles injuries, you go, God, did that really happen? How does that? You kind of watch the back of his ankle, just you almost see it pop, and.
Did we lose you, Trav? We lost you, Trav. We're going to lose Trav, get Trav back in just a moment. Man, that was anticlimactic. Not just Travis's part. I mean, the watching Tyrese Halliburton, watching the Thunder walk away from the Pacers last night. That was tough. And I think we were honest about this. I was rooting for Indiana because of the Tyrese Halliburton connection. Other than that, zero connection, I thought. Until this game got towards the end, I thought I had zero connection to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But that was anticlimactic. And to see Tyrese hit the ground and then instantly start thumping the floor like that, that's hard. That was just a really tough thing to see, because I felt like in that moment, instantly Tyrese is done. The Pacers are done. And then what? And it's, if it is an Achilles, because I'm with you, Travis, when they show that and you see him start to make that cut and then instantly go down. I mean, and maybe it's in my brain, but I swear you can see that Achilles ball up there. And then he's down there thumping the ground. And we've talked about this before, man. I think you have been also. Didn't you tear your Achilles once?
I've never torn my Achilles.
Okay.
But I know plenty of people who have, who says the most excruciating pain they've ever been through.
I've been in a gym when it happened, and it sounds like a gunshot. It sounds like a pop. You hear it.
Ooh.
And that pain that you saw, instantaneous, go to the ground and like
slapping the floor, just
mommy type of pain. Yeah.
Isn't it funny that when you suffer severe pain like that, the first thing you do is like, I want my mommy. I want my mom. It really, I mean, it was, and now this puts his 25-26 season in jeopardy.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I think that's where some of your brain goes. You go, oh, Tyrese is out. Pacers are done. I mean, we're early in this game. Oklahoma City's just walked away. But now what about Tyrese? What does that mean? Because isn't it? It's an Achilles that Aaron Rodgers is coming back from and came back from.
And he came back really quick from.
But we should get Doc on to talk to us about this.
That's a good, Dr. Jason Sullivan from the DeMoss Orthopedic Centers would be a good person to have on, just because this is something we've talked about it in pickleball, all this stuff. The Achilles injuries are increasing. But yeah, you watched him last night. And you're like, oh, excruciating pain. And I was kind of like with you. It was so early, and the Pacers kept pace. But I never once thought they were going to win that game without Tyrese Halliburton. Now,
okay, maybe I'm having some sort of misremember moment here. You know, and now I just clicked the game flow thing, Trav. In my mind,
over?
Oklahoma City went up 10 as soon as Tyrese went down. They didn't actually take a significant lead until they didn't. Yeah, and really the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, when Indiana just quit scoring for a while.
Yeah.
God, why did that? Maybe is that just a mental thing that I went through? Tyrese went out, and I thought, this is over.
Well, you're a couple Old Tavern beers in. You're in the pool. You're celebrating your birthday, and you kind of pay attention. I think your brain does that to you. You go, well, Tyrese went out. It didn't matter. It was the game was over. I think it was for a lot of. How it is for the Thunder. This is the Thunder's first championship in Oklahoma City. They won as the Seattle Supersonics in 1945, but I don't look at it like that. I don't look at a franchise winning another championship, because this is the city's first NBA.
Man, you're having some connectivity issues today, dude. That sucks. So I'm with you. I do not count their Seattle thing as part of that. Doesn't count for Oklahoma City, and the Oklahoma City Thunder fans don't count that as a championship. You can't go, oh, I remember when Grandpa used to tell me great stories about the Seattle. No, it doesn't happen. So I'm with you. Most people would be with you in agreement on that.
I'm gonna give you a stat. I want.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna. You look at Oklahoma City, and this franchise has been extremely successful, more so than I thought. When you look at the numbers, I took this from ESPN.com, but I thought it was worth putting out there because I was kind of blown away by this. Ross, since they moved to Oklahoma City in like 2005, 2006, it was right around then. The Oklahoma City had the second most regular season wins in the NBA, only behind the Boston Celtics.
Wow.
They had the fifth most postseason wins in the NBA.
Did you since 2005?
Well, whenever they moved to Oklahoma City, so they've been there, 17 years or something like that, they have the second most regular season wins in the NBA.
Behind the Celtics.
Not
the Golden State Warriors in that time frame?
I know. Think about that. A level of consistency that is amazing. I mean, if you were to say, hey, over the last 17 years, give me the NBA teams that have the most regular season wins, I don't think the Thunder would have been one of my picks. I probably would have said the Lakers, probably would have said the Warriors, would have said the Celtics. Hell, I probably started naming other teams, and I don't know if Oklahoma City would have been in the top 10 for me.
That's actually what I was going to. I wondered if your article had those top 5 teams, because that could be kind of a fun little thing. I was looking to see if I could find. I just did the last 15 years, and it's insane how close it is. This is just an AI search real quickly here, okay? Winningest NBA teams last 15 years, so not quite as far back as you would go. And if you go back as far, just one more year, think about that. In the last 15 years, it's 724, 723, and 720 for 1, 2, and 3.
So Warriors, you got Boston in there.
Warriors, Celtics, Thunder are 1, 2. That's the last 15 years. So you would never guess. Nobody. I don't care. I don't care how deep of an NBA fan you are. I can't believe what the computer is telling me number 4 is. I can't believe it. In the last 15 years, the 4th winningest franchise in Toronto? The NBA is the LA Clippers.
And nothing to show for it.
Tyler was really close. Number 5 is the Heat, but the Heat are a ways back. They're at 697. So they're 21 wins behind the Clippers. The Clippers are just 6 wins from being the winningest franchise in the last 15 years, Travis.
Wow.
There's a rabbit hole for you. What?
That's crazy. But it also goes to show you the regular season means absolutely nothing. Sure, it gets you a playoff seed. It means you're consistent. Fans are watching wins, but fans want championships, right?
Dude, remember those teams were good with Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan. Who was the other guy on that team that was just a dog? Who was the dude on that team that was it? It was DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin. Those guys were jumping over people. That was fun. They had a name. It was the Splash Brothers for Golden State. Lob City. Lob City. Ah.
Wow. Yeah, but if you go 17 years since they went to Oklahoma City, the second most regular season wins. Then they started all over. I think in 2019, the general manager, the owner, wrote an opinion piece or a letter to people in the Oklahoma City paper. Said, "Hey, we're rebuilding. We're starting over. Trust me, this is going to work. We're going to build a championship franchise here." And it took till 2025 to make it happen. With not a lot of big names. SGA is a big name, but it's one of those Tim Duncan-like names, right? Is that it's just...
He's a hard one to I think that there's been a couple of NBA stars recently, Travis, that have been in this SGA mold. Guys that aren't, they're really good, but they don't have that, whatever that X factor is. I mean, even
marketability, you mean?
Yeah, something like that. SGA is fantastic. Holmgren's got a little bit more of it, whatever that thing is. That marketability, remember factor, whatever it is. The guy that I thought of last night, Travis, that game was winding down, and the Thunder were pulling away, and it was becoming apparent. I mean, it felt like it was a 20-point game at one point in the fourth quarter. Am I crazy with that?
It was a pretty big spread. I think close to 20. It was double digits.
I got to thinking about Nick Collison. Nick Collison spent his entire career
in Oklahoma City.
He's his number is retired. He's in like their Ring of Honor type thing. Never got to experience this mountaintop, obviously. But I did, as that game was winding down last night, I thought about Nick Collison, and congratulations. And should have at some point made that connection earlier in the year, or earlier in the series in my head of like, oh, that'd be really cool for that dude.
No, the irony of the whole thing is who really started the push in Oklahoma City was Kevin Durant. I mean, he was I think one of the part of that first draft class that went to Oklahoma City, and on the day that they win the championship, he's traded to Houston, and Houston now becomes like the arch rival in a team that could dethrone Oklahoma City.
I bet Thunder fans don't give a crap about Kevin Durant today. Durant was
I don't think they give a crap about him. I'm just saying the irony of it. This all started, with Kevin Durant.
Do you realize who he played with in Oklahoma City? Do you realize that he and James Harden and, oh my God,
Westbrook
were all on the same team?
And Collison was on that team too, right?
Did they have 3 basketballs? There's a couple of questions. Number one, how didn't they score every time down the court? And then number two, what the hell? That's something that deserves a little bit of a deep dive of like, there's 3 dudes that had unbelievable Hall of Fame careers. It's kind of like It's kind of like those Royals outfields in the 90s. Remember that? All of a sudden, you'd look around, you'd be like, God, the All-Star team is like the Royals starting outfield from last year, from 3 years ago.
Jermaine Johnny Damon.
Right. Carlos Beltran.
Oh, I forgot about Carlos.
Carlos Beltran started as a Royal.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's.
But there you go. Little stat for you this morning about the Oklahoma City Thunder. The second most regular season wins, 5 most postseason wins, and they finally won a championship last night, bringing an NBA title to a very small market city. And yeah, and then Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers out. They said they could hear Tyrese from the locker room, still like, applauding, like,
cheering on his team,
cheering on his
good,
team.
Good.
He was there at
I
the
thought you
end,
were wailing in pain.
No, his family was around him, but they said he was still in the locker room, screaming for his teammates, cheering them on. He was there to greet them as they walked off the floor. Probably not an easy thing to do.
They did say it in the broadcast last night, and that is going to be one of those painfully long what ifs for a team. Because we spent some time talking about Oklahoma City, what that means for that community. That's really cool. All the years invested. Think of those 17 long years. 17. Reggie Miller happened in 2000, 2001, something like that, I think.
Oh, was it? I thought it was 2009 or in the 1990s.
Or maybe it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's how long. And then Indiana goes back before that. You got the Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway days. Like, was that Indiana? No, they were with Golden State, weren't they? They were Golden State. Indiana's been through it, dude. Been close. This close. You overcome all the odds, not just to get there, to force this thing to Game 7. They weren't supposed to have a chance in these NBA Finals. They get it to Game 7. They're playing well in Game 7. Bang!
Early on. Just goes down. 515-517-2303. You can visit us at therushladio.com. We'll take a break, come back, continue the conversation on the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Brennan Santone here with Willis Cadillac. It is officially summer. Behind me I have a beautiful CT5 Blackwing with over 600 horsepower and drift metallic. It is available on our show floor. We also have EV Conquest on all of our EV models. We do have some lease loyalty just for owning a 2012 or newer Cadillac as well. And also we have gotten several new CT4s and 5s in. Come check out this summer what we got going on over our Clive location, or check us out at williscadillac.com.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make. Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Summer's here, and that means extra miles on your car. With road trips, summer activities, and more, stop in now and get a vehicle inspection to make sure your Land Rover is in the best shape possible. We'll even throw in $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com to schedule your appointment today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Of course, if you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Rush Android app, we appreciate that. You know, Apple's been a pain in the ass, just a big, big pain in the ass. Apple, for some reason, it's just harder to get an app on Apple. So we found a workaround, folks. And this is really cool because you can now listen to the Rush Radio Show on your CarPlay, whether that's Android Auto or Google CarPlay or Apple CarPlay. We are now on the TuneIn app. So all you have to do is download the free TuneIn app. You can, and there's two versions. There's the paid version, of course, where you don't have to listen to all the ads, or you can get the free version where you have to listen to like a minute of ads before we come on the air. And just search The Rush Radio Show. That's The Rush Radio Show. And we will be right there on your phone if you have an Apple phone. So there's a way around everything. We found a way around everything. It took a little bit longer than we thought, but it's not ideal. Well, it is ideal because we're out there. But if you have the Android phone, you can obviously always use the Android Rush Radio Show app. Or if you have an Apple phone, use the TuneIn app to bring us right into your car. And just and it's the CarPlay that makes it nice. When I get in my car, Ross, because I call you, I say, hey, I'm listening to the show. And so I have a CarPlay. And as soon as I plug in my phone, the Rush Radio Show is there. And I'm like, oh, I can listen to it. It's nice.
At better quality than we were ever able to be streamed before.
Yes.
And just for technical reasons, digital, analog, all sorts of things that happened there. But this is such a, it's so, yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it. Hey, I know you've got a fun show planned because you sent me a whole rundown of like topics. You want to get into the College World Series and college football stuff. There's even some boxing news. But we do have some fun time, right?
Yeah, the floor is yours, my friend. The floor is yours.
Something weird happened in baseball. Baseball has this way, right? It's that line. Go to the ballpark. You're going to see something new every day. Or you might see something again for the first time ever. June 20th. This is Thursday night. This article on MLB.com mistakenly calls it the first day of summer and the longest day of the year. That's the 21st. Anyway.
The summer solstice. Solstice is what you're talking about. If you're a pagan.
If you're a pagan,
it's we had the Wiccans came out and had their summer solstice celebrations.
The Wiccans did something. Somebody did something June 20th with the Springfield Cardinals, the AA affiliate for the St. Louis Cardinals. Okay. No hitters in baseball, rare, but they happen, right?
Yeah.
Cardinals AA affiliate threw a no-hitter on Thursday night. Just the second no-hitter in franchise history, okay? Here's where things get weird. On June 20th, that no-hitter versus the Corpus Christi Hooks in a 1-0 victory, being their second ever no-hitter, looks a lot like their first ever no-hitter, which happened last year. On June 20th.
No.
Against the Corpus Christi Hooks.
No.
Same team, same date, same no-hitter.
Wow. What are the odds of that happening? I mean, the odds of a no-hitter are pretty rare anyway. I mean,
yeah.
But same team, same date.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
There you go. Baseball.
If you're Corpus Christi, you're going to the schedulers. Do not put us at this team on June 20th of next year.
Not going to freaking Springfield. We hear about blowouts in in women's basketball quite a bit. You know what I mean? Every now and again, a story comes to us. Somebody's like, "You're not going to believe this. Greenfield Mount Union beat Southern Lennox 173-6 the other night."
I think you just combined like 4 Iowa high schools.
I didn't want to pick on anybody because it's going to get back to them, and then you're going to get an email and have to explain to them that I was just trying to tell a story. So, right? We've all had that. We've gotten that phone call. North Hamilton just destroyed Western Tama.
I've been to Tama before.
The score was 743 to -1. It was awful. How dare they? Right? And you go, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a competition. It's high school basketball, though, and there can be this huge gap in talent, right?
True. Okay. Very much so.
All right. With that in mind, I take you to the FIBA games. The women's
FIBA games.
FIBA is like the International Basketball Association, Federation of International Basketball Association. I don't know what it stands for, but it's international basketball. This is the under 16 America in women's basketball. 16 and under girls, young ladies, playing international basketball. U.S. plays Panama. Final score 131-12.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, my.
The U.S. team started on a 44-0 run.
Ooh.
From the opening tip. And then they have the audacity to put in the article, Americans controlled the game for all 40 minutes.
No kidding. No kidding.
With the 131-12 final score, the United States broke their record for the highest margin of victory at an event. They're an 119-point margin today, besting the 111-point victory over the Dominican Republic in 2009.
And this is international competition. The best of the best are playing
this is the international competition for women's basketball. Our 16U girls won 131-12.
All I hear you saying, Ross, is that the future looks bright for American women's basketball.
Brighter than it does for Panama.
Yes. I'm not worried about Panama in the Olympic Games in 2042.
Never in a couple years.
Yeah. Or 2032. 112 or what was it again?
131-12.
Ooh.
Halftime score was, I just had it here on the article. The article's kind of funny. Panama had 6 points in the second quarter. USA's consistency pushed their lead to another 22 points. They were up 76-8 at halftime.
Ooh. They only scored 4 points in the second half.
Yeah, 2 in the second quarter, 6 in the second quarter, or 2 in the first quarter, 6 in the second quarter, and then 4 points in the second half. Just however you want to.
So let me ask you this. Where was this played at?
This game was in. I don't know, Travis. I'm sorry. It doesn't say.
You probably got parents going, man, we traveled all the way here for this. Traveled all this distance. We spent all this money to watch this.
They then beat the 16U women in the America Cup, then went on to beat Canada 85-59 in the final.
Ooh. I got a question for you, Ross.
Fire away.
And that is, I've come around. If you would have talked to me 10 years ago, I'd have been anti-pay college athletes. I've changed on that. You have successfully, in your tactful, debating ways, changed my way of thinking on the benefits of paying college players and college athletes. Are college athletes, and you did that because you convinced me of the commodity that they were. Like there were people making money off the backs of college athletes. And I came to believe that and embrace that. And they were commoditized, should we say. Are college athletes just as much a commodity today, and maybe worse so, than it was in the old system because Bo Bassett, who, all the rumors were out there that he was getting $5 million to come to the University of Iowa to be a wrestler. When he committed to the University of Iowa, it was a celebration. They were jumping up and down. They're like, yeah, the Brands brothers are back. Iowa wrestling's back. Bo Bassett's coming to Iowa. And over the weekend, Bo Bassett puts out there after, of course, the typical tweet, after talking to my God and my family, I have decided to decommit from the University of Iowa and reopen my recruitment, which means he's probably going to Penn State.
All right. So I wrote down a couple notes there as you were chatting because I like what you did. Are athletes, let's get around to Bo Bassett. Let's start with that big conversation of, are athletes more, let's cut through the weeds, they've taken advantage of? Are there more people profiting off of these athletes than before? The athletes are getting part of the change now, and that's cool. That's the way it should be. I think you could argue that yes, though, there's this industry continues to grow. Deloitte's a great example. That's a company that's going to make money that wasn't making money a couple of years ago, and now they're going to have a whole department that survives because of the NCAA and college athletics and
hear me out. Look at the timing of this decommitment. We are now less than a week away from July 1st when the House settlement kicks in. If Bo Bassett signs his NIL deal before July 1st, even though he doesn't start for another year, does that not need to be reported to Deloitte? And I would say yes. You'd say, hey, I signed this NIL deal.
I don't know the timing.
On June 23rd, June 24th, June 20, whenever he signs the deal, if he signs before, and I'm not talking a letter of intent or the commitment to wrestle, I'm talking about the actual NIL deal. If that's good, that's what's going to be interesting to follow. If Bo Bassett commits someplace before July 1st, you know what happened here. Is that you got that NIL deal done before the July 1st deadline.
Remember with the Tom Thibodeau stuff, we said sometimes it takes a little while to understand what they didn't have a plan when they fired Tom Thibodeau. And we know that now. You can look at it and go, oh, you're right. Give this a week. A week from now, we'll know what they knew a week ago. Watch their actions. I hadn't even thought about the timing of it, Travis. The commodity part of this, because there's so much to talk about here, dude. The recruiting part of it that you and I talked about last week. You and I were talking about how, like, man, the recruiting stuff, there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of hope and hype that gets sold through the recruiting process.
Well, and I had called you because I was re-listening to the show, and I called you. I said, we were having this conversation. Do you remember this conversation when I called you? So just to refresh everybody's memory, we were talking about commitments and payments and all this stuff. And and should we just get rid of the recruiting period and say, hey, when you sign it, when you make your commitments, you sign. And then I called Ross because I was listening to the show going, I wish I would have said this. And here's what I wish I would have said is that, hey, we're going to sign you get a full ride scholarship. Here's your NIL deal, sign the deal. If you want out, there is a repayment penalty, meaning you've made a commitment, we've made a commitment, and to make this somewhat of a binding contract that if you try to get out of it for whatever said deal, and we're going to get to more of this with Wisconsin probably in hour number 2, that you have to pay us. Meaning, yeah, we may let you out of this, but you're not getting out of here scot-free. Meaning you're going to, there is a penalty. And that may get rid of tampering. Because Penn State didn't stop recruiting Bo Bassett. Wisconsin didn't stop recruiting Bo Bassett. Lehigh didn't stop recruiting Bo Bassett. because he's going to end up somewhere, and you're going to end up at the highest bidder. And every Hawkeye fan's dreams were crushed yesterday. Crushed. I lost you.
Yeah, because I muted my microphone.
Why did you mute your microphone? It's
I was
okay.
moving. You know, my screen is touchscreen. I was moving my little cross around, and I think I touched my mute thing. I must have done that. Sorry,
you
about
scared
that.
me there for a second.
Scared me for a minute.
Yeah, the thing that I go that was, but I'm like I didn't do anything. Got full bar.
So last night I'm with my buddy Dusty, my buddy Ryan, my buddy Scotty, Eli, all Iowa wrestling fans. When that news pops out of like, oh, Bo Bassett's leaving, he decommitted. I will be the attitude was not no. The attitude was more like, look at this. Did you guys see this? Bo Bassett decommitted. Eli was mad. Eli's like, they shouldn't be allowed to do this. They shouldn't be allowed to commit and decommit. They shouldn't force a 16-year-old to announce a major decision that's going to impact the lives of grown adults. Here's an idea. Let's wait. Let's give the kids plenty of time to make a decision, because this is what happens. A 16-year-old kid gets recruited by adults. Who
and
come
promise
on.
the world. And
come
promise
on.
the world.
When you go into any negotiation, the person who's been at that table and been through those negotiations the most has a natural advantage. You're a kid. You're a parent going through this the only time in your life. They're going through it for the 6th time today. And then these kids make a decision and they go, okay, I'm going to pick University X. What do we do? Human brain. Now I'm going to circle the wagons. Now I am this thing. Now, and I've told the world I am this thing. And as a person that has been fired twice and been through a divorce, I'm telling you, it sucks to go back and tell the world you're not the thing you told them you were. It sucks. That's what getting fired and having these resets in your life sucks so bad, because you announce it to the world. I am this thing. I'm a football player. Nope, now you don't get a contract anymore. Now you're not a football player. Shit, what am I? How do I reinvent myself? It happens with commitments. A 16-year-old kid says, I'm going to go to Iowa. Now I'm a Hawkeye. And yeah, he's a Hawkeye. I knew he was one of us. I knew he wasn't one of those traitors that would pick another color to wear. I knew it. I knew he bled black and gold just like me. What's that? The 16-year-old changed his mind? Coward. I knew he wasn't built for this world. He's not Hawkeye tough. He's a 16-year-old kid who got promised a bunch of shit. And then while he was promised that stuff, got a bunch of pressures about how that was the wrong decision and he should do something else, and got promised a whole bunch more money. I don't fault the kid at all. I don't fault the kids. I blame us for this. I blame us as fans who make such a big deal about this. When the kid made his commitment, it was like, here it is, guys. Life-changing information. We got Bo Bassett. Oh,
Iowa
cool.
wrestling's back.
Cool. He'll win a national title for us next year. Well, no. He's just a junior in high school. Oh, okay. All right. So we'll stick around and wait a year and wait for the team to get. Okay. All right. Cool. But it'll help with recruiting, right? Right. That's the key. That's one of the things I tell you. When you get a guy like Spencer Lee, then you get all the guys after that. Wait, that didn't happen. Well, when you get a guy like Bo Bassett, now we can give all the money to Bo Bassett because it's a train. See, what happens is you bring the first car in, all the other guys come behind him. What happens when the first car derails? Oh, oh, the train all comes off behind him? I don't know what the answer is, Travis. I really don't, because my first you instantly want to go, all right, we got to have some sort of rule to prevent this. What rule? What rule do you do? Do you tell kids they can't make an announcement until they graduate from high school and then they're locked into that answer? I don't want that. Do you tell kids they can commit when they're 7 years old and then decommit and recommit and decommit and recommit until they grad? I don't want that. What do we want as fans? Besides our teams to get all the good guys and win.
I think we want normalcy. I think we want stability. And it's an unstable system right now. It's always been unstable, but not to the level we're seeing it now because money is playing such a big part of it. And again, you have changed. I laid it out. You've successfully changed my mind. But I would say the system is more screwed up today than it ever has been. And as we get closer to that July 1st House deadline, you may see a lot more of this, not just in wrestling, but you may see it in football, basketball, a whole bunch, because there's only a few days left to go, okay, what's going to be beneficial for me? And because nobody knows what this Deloitte thing is really going to be. Now, Brad Heinrichs, when he was on with us a couple weeks ago, said they kind of mysteriously changed the language and took out the fair market value language to where they could just rubber stamp everything. But you don't know if that's going to happen. And they always have the power not to rubber stamp something. And to me, my idea of when you commit, you sign, but this means both parties better come to the table knowing that there's a commitment on both sides. Meaning, hey, this is what we're going to promise you, and here it is in writing, sign the contract. You sign said contract. If you want out of said contract, there are financial penalties. Because that's, if you're negotiating in good faith, if you're negotiating as an adult, and I know they're 16 years old, but you're making an adult decision here worth a lot of money.
And you do have your, hopefully, I shouldn't even say it. I was going to say, hopefully you've got your parents' guidance through it. But what's that worth? What's that worth? I would be zero. I'd be just as naive and green in that world as any 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid. And 99% of parents are. Unless you went through that process, unless you work for a university, unless you had a kid already. This is your second or third Division I athlete who's gone through this recruiting process. My buddy, and some people will know this name, but and he put it on Facebook, so I hope I'm not airing personal information because he's a pretty private guy. But kid that I went to school with named Rocky Daybolt, his son Maximus is one of the best wrestlers in the state of Iowa. He's fantastic, and he's just ended his sophomore year and has started this recruiting thing. And Rocky put out a thing on Facebook the other day that was like, here's the things that we've learned in this. Because again, Rocky was a good wrestler, went to state. Rocky was not like his son, Max, who's amazing. And he put this thing on Facebook, like the 10 things that we've learned from talking to different coaches and just starting this process of how he's going to make this decision about where he wants to wrestle. It's a huge decision. It's a huge decision. Let the kids.
Who should get on is Brian Duax, who's is one of the best soccer players in the state, if not the region, if not the country. I guarantee they're getting recruited left and right, and that's just soccer. I mean, can you imagine? And I don't mean to diminish it, but it's not on the same level as college football or college basketball.
It's a totally different world. It really is, because with soccer, like Brian has a kid that's already played for a professional organization, so it's just a totally different world, but he would be a good one to talk to about what this world is like. How do you navigate it? And Brian, again, one of those fortunate ones that was a super good athlete, got recruited. I think he played at Drake, if I remember right.
Yep.
So he would even say, well, I didn't play high level. Played Division I soccer. So anyway, back to the Bo Bassett thing. Because are they more of a commodity now than they ever were? Yes. Does that mean that in this world, more people are trying to get their wet their beak. They're trying to dip their hand in that cookie jar. Yes. Trav, you did touch on the one thing, and I don't want to pick on the kid because he's a teenager, and he's been very, very open and honest about his faith. Which is awesome, I think. But I saw the same thing you did with the. I love God. I hate when God gets used. And I hate it when God gets used as like a way of I can do whatever I want as long as I say that I've talked to God about it. That makes it that makes it my noble thing to do in a way. I'm not blaming this kid for doing it. I just it's a tactic, and I like to point out when I see these tactics so that everybody's aware, hey, you're being tacticked here.
It's a diffuser.
That great word for it, Travis. It's maneuvering the chess pieces on the board. When a couple years ago, this great phrase came out of, we like to create safe spaces. I remember calling my cousin, who is a great educator, and saying, hey, what does this mean? It's like, well, before you say something mean, you say, hey, I'm about to say something mean. Huh? Yeah.
How do you know if something's mean?
Everything's mean. So just start everything by saying, hey, everybody, I just want to let you know. After a lot of thoughtful prayer, a lot of conversation with my family, quiet reflection about what's best for me.
Do you think you call Tom Brands and say, hey, I'm decommitting, or do you text him and say,
You
hey,
better make a phone call.
I would agree with you on that.
I mean, allegedly, that's a $5 million phone call. Brad might be a good one to talk to about this. What are you hearing? How did this work? Tristan Wirf's conversation. Did he get money? Or not Tristan Wirf's. I'm so sorry. Not Tristan Wirf's. Oh, geez. The young man that went to Alabama, Caden Proctor. I apologize. Is this a Caden Proctor situation where we think he got money, but he actually didn't get money from any, you know what I mean? Because remember, everybody was like, oh, Caden Proctor just took the money and ran. Brad came on and said, we didn't pay the kid a dime. Everybody relax.
Well, and it's all how some of these NIL deals are formed too, right? Meaning Iowa might have been, and I'm just making this up as we go along. I'm just thinking out loud. So I don't want people to say, hey, this is what happened. But Iowa may have said, and I'm using this example, you start getting paid when you arrive on campus. There are other deals out there we've heard where kids were getting paid in high school. Nico Iamalevala was one that was getting paid by Tennessee when he was still in high school. If they said, hey, we're going to give you this much, and oh, by the way, we're going to start paying you now. And that changes the whole negotiation deal.
Who was the quarterback from Texas? Wasn't it Quinn Ewers who committed to Ohio State, but then
he committed to Ohio State because you could not make NIL money in the state of Texas as a high school student, right? It was like one of these things where, okay, well, I'm going to commit to Ohio State
for a year, but never go to the campus.
No, he was there 1 year. He went through spring ball and stuff like that.
Okay. Did he go to class?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't think he did. I thought he committed to. Well, we can go look. I mean, either way. And then he ended up going back to where everybody knew he was going to go, which was Texas. What sort of backroom deal happened there? Ohio State didn't do that for free, and they aren't suckers. They weren't like, oh, we got him. Oh, he's going to Texas. It's like when the guys used to show up to play for Hayden Fry, their grades weren't good enough, and then they were magically enrolled at Kirkwood.
Had another place for them to go.
We just happened to have this place. It's
just right down the street.
Lucky.
We'll get your grades up.
That's what we are. We're lucky.
We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. We're going to continue this conversation because there's actually a lawsuit pertaining to this that was dropped on Friday or Saturday. It's very interesting, and it's going to open up a rabbit hole, a huge rabbit hole of kind of what we're talking about right now. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. We have some great stuff going on this month. Right now you can get $4,000 off a brand new QX80, 2.9% out to 60 months. On top of that, QX60s are doing 1.9 clear out to 60 months, 2.9 at 72, and even an incentivized rate at 4.9 at 84 months. For more information, come see us in our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Summer's here, and that can mean extra miles on your car. With road trips, summer activities, and more. Your Volvo will endure extra strain. Stop in now and get a vehicle inspection to make sure your Volvo is in the best shape possible. We'll even throw in $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or head online to willisvolvocars.com to get scheduled today.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday, everybody. Good to have you here. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushladio.com, on the Rush Radio app on your Google Android device, or now your Apple device on the TuneIn app, the free TuneIn app. Thank you so much for doing that. You can also watch us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave your comments in the comment section. Follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. You know, I love it when our advertisers listen to the show, Ross. It makes me so happy. We were talking about Brian Duax and his son being recruited for the sport of soccer. And we this all came up because of the Bo Bassett situation of committing, then decommitting. And we've got deadlines coming up with NIL deals. And we were just wondering what that recruiting situation was like. And not just at college basketball, college football, but almost all these sports when you're considered one of the best of the best. And Brian was listening to the show, and he joins us on the show now. He's in the warehouse. He's in the warehouse.
Yes, sir.
That's the good stuff.
Making sure all the bars are fully stocked again later this afternoon.
That's what we'd like to see.
All right, so let's start at the beginning, and that is maybe even with like your recruitment and how things changed. So you went to Drake as a soccer player. That's a Division I soccer program.
Correct.
So how much, first of all, from that experience that you went through, were you able to help out your kids, or was it just a completely different world?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So back when I was playing, we actually did this with my oldest son 3 years ago. He wanted to see how good I actually was. So we found some tapes from my mother
she would just sit in the car or sit on the sideline and video, and it was the worst video in the history of video.
You had to tell
It was shaking all over the place.
which grainy image you were.
Correct. Like, there was one game where it was a state final. I scored 5 goals. My nephew was doing it from the car. He didn't catch any of them.
5 goals.
Yeah.
I have to ask before we go any deeper. Was this on a VHS?
One of those little, like, it was a handheld
handy
camcorder
cam.
with
They were
the,
called-
like, little tapes.
Yep. Okay.
So I had to go on to Amazon and find a little tape, that goes into the big tape, and then buy a VCR, and then we hooked it up to the TV, and it was awful. I still have all the videos, but it was awful.
What a great story. I scored 5 goals. He didn't get any of them.
None of them.
You should be happy you got Eli's grand slam ball.
Yes, you should.
That's amazing.
Back when I was being recruited, it was very difficult for a kid from Iowa to find anywhere other than the Midwest that was even interested.
Yeah.
Since then, with Huddle, with VO, they are videoing practice now. And then the level of competition from when I played, soccer in Iowa wasn't sanctioned until 95. That's when it finally became a high school sport. To now, it's amazing the technology that has changed, and that has advanced all of the kids in terms of their availability throughout the country. The leagues have gotten better. We're now traveling way more, which is way more expensive, but it opens up opportunities for these kids, not just in the Midwest. Like, when I was being recruited, I had Eastern Illinois, Western Illinois, IUPUI, which is now IU Indy, I believe.
Yeah, it's changed so many times.
And Drake. Those were the 4 options I had to go play college soccer. So I ended up choosing Drake. Recruiting it just depends who you are. Like, my older son, these ID camps, at least in the soccer world, they're just money grabs.
When you say ID camps, what does that?
So
Individual development, or?
It's basically how colleges claim they identify these players. So, for instance, my oldest son, Ty, who's now playing with the Menace, he got personally invited to the Wisconsin camp up in the University of Wisconsin. Coach personally reached out to him, said, come to the camp. Nothing. Now, maybe Ty didn't perform, but according to Ty, he was told by the Wisconsin assistant coach, if we recruit one more kid for last year's class, it will be you. Nothing.
Didn't hear anything.
It was $700 down the drain, plus a hotel, plus driving to Wisconsin. And we did that for my oldest son a ton because he wasn't being as highly recruited as his little brother.
Okay.
His little brother did 0 ID camps. So Ty's recruitment was completely different than Tate's. Tate's, like you're talking about Bo Bassett, he went to Northeastern, he went to William & Mary, he went to American, he went to Drake, he went to Western Illinois, all for visits. First one he went to was last March. He went to Northeastern. That coach, as we left, he gave us his offer. He said, you have until April 28th to make a decision. I looked at him and I was like, you're crazy. He's 16 years old. He hasn't seen any of these other institutions. There's no way we're making a decision by April 28th.
Brian, honestly, dude, even that one step, good on you to have the authority to be able to do that, because a lot of parents would think, oh, shit, this is what they said. We have to make a decision. We got to get our ducks in a row. They need an answer by X time. That's really important right there. To even that one moment to be able to go, cool, that's your time frame. That's not our time frame.
Yeah, and it's a scary moment because then the coach says, I respect you. You're all good. But if I find another kid who's equal or better than you, I may offer him a spot and your spot's gone. So me and Tate and his mother talked and we were like, hey, what do you want to do? And he wasn't ready at that time.
Good.
And we went on all the other visits. And then, all the coaches were calling saying, hey, when's your decision? When's your decision? They all wanted to know before the MLS playoffs started for the youth. The MLS playoffs youth just got done yesterday. So they all wanted a decision because they were all going to be down at this event recruiting all these kids. And they wanted to know, do I have this Duax kid in my pocket or do I need to keep looking for a player like him?
Yeah.
Now, are they offering you money at these schools. I mean, so
and you don't have to answer.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, because that's part of the. I mean, that's what we're talking about with the Bo Bassett thing. Now, we're not talking $5 million like, and again, that's a rumor about Bo Bassett. But are they saying, hey, not only do we want to offer you a scholarship, but here's our financial package for you?
There was only one. William and Mary, because they don't have. I think they don't have football. So their two biggest money-making men's sports are basketball and soccer. So we had a meeting with their NIL director, and he was like, we are strongly talking about NIL for the soccer program, and Tate could be the first child to get NIL.
Wow.
Other than that, it was just scholarship, which in soccer is very difficult because a soccer program gets 9.9 scholarships if they're fully funded to split however they want between 28 to 35 guys.
That's going to go up, though, on July 1st, right?
No.
Soccer's not going, because baseball got increased. Soccer's not going up?
It's supposed to, but how many schools actually can afford it?
Oh, so you're saying you can go up, but not everybody is going to go up.
Correct. For instance, Western Illinois, where my older son goes, not a chance. He's still got 9.9 scholarships. There's no way it's going up. In Tate's recruiting process, we talked to 35, 40 schools. 2 said they were going up. And they're not going up to 28. They were going up to like 12.
Wow.
It's soccer, unfortunately, unless you're Creighton over where you're at, Travis, or a big-time school, an ACC Big Ten school, we're not a money-generating sport.
Well, tell Tate to go to Creighton.
I would love for him to go to Creighton. They actually did recruit him a little bit.
Man, what an interesting process to go through, Brian. And you are in that really rare 1% that actually has your personal experience through your older son, and that helps you navigate some of these waters as you go in. Dude, was there any resource for you as you went into this process as a player, when your mom and dad were helping you, nothing for you to get any sort of education or?
Let me rephrase that. There was a woman by the name of Ramona Barber, who her daughter went to Valley with me, and I think she was a huge soccer lady. She got into like helping place kids in college when I was growing up. So I spent many days with Ramona Barber going through how my GPA was, what I wanted to study, how big of a school I wanted to go to, or small school, or what size of the city I wanted to go to. And she had the knowledge and resources to help me. And she actually, we went to Ramona still. I think I was her first client back in the day. And I took Ty to her. And Ramona's a very beautiful woman, very unique, very eclectic.
And she helped. This is what she did. So like she turned this into an actual industry. This wasn't just like a family friend helping you.
Yep. And
that's really cool.
Her daughter, if I'm not mistaken, Liza, went to Harvard and is married to Fitzpatrick, the quarterback. I don't know if he's still playing.
What?
Yeah.
Really? The guy with the beard?
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick from Harvard.
She's married to him. Yep. Or at least was. I don't know if she still is.
Ramona Barber.
Yep.
Actually, I think my sister-in-law used Ramona for her son.
Stop it.
Honest to God.
Way.
She did expand through not
and
just
she's
soccer.
got like a waiting list. It takes like months to get in to see her, Ross. I'm not kidding you.
Absolutely.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think my sister-in-law Gretchen, who you know, Ross,
used
Ramona for her son to kind of find a college path.
Yep.
And what that would be.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. She's called the College Whisperer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
No. Now,
Teen Whisperer helps students make key decisions. This is an article from USA Today in 2012.
Yeah.
Find your niche, man. Find your niche.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
All right, Brian. Hey, I'm glad you're always listening to us. And by the way, and I don't know if you've downloaded the TuneIn app now. You can just listen to when you get in your car. You can use the TuneIn app and use this on your CarPlay.
I heard that this morning, and every single day that I say I talked to you guys or that you guys were hitting us up huge on the advertisement. My father goes, I still don't know how to watch it. I still don't know how to listen to it.
We set it up for him.
He has an iPhone. Now I can get him that TuneIn app.
Yes.
And literally just go click this button.
Yeah, and when it comes up on his car, because I have a feeling he's got CarPlay, he can just go boom.
Oh no,
That's all.
he's still driving one of the white pedophile delivery vans. So no.
The white pedophile delivery vans. Oh,
I love it. Brian, thanks so much, man. This is great information. And I think we've already gotten some information about Ramona emailed to us. I think we should try to get her on to just, that'd be a fascinating conversation on
we
its
may have
own.
to get in the wait list. She may not have time for us. She's that
Dude,
busy.
do you see how many people in our chat right now are saying, Kevin says, we used Ramona for our daughter. Carolyn says, our son went to her, took him on industrial tech route at Iowa State. Now he's an engineer.
Yeah, she definitely branched out of just the soccer world. Like when she was doing it for me, she was just doing soccer players. And now she is, doesn't matter what you are. Doesn't matter what you want to go to school for. Doesn't matter where you want to go to school.
Eli.
Doesn't matter.
She's
I could probably call Ramona. If you need me to, I could probably reach out to Ramona again.
I'll reach out to you today, a little bit later. We'll figure out how to get her in touch with her, because that would be a fun conversation, just, in general. Dude, thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
By the way, Duax brothers both going to be rostered for the Menace game this Saturday. Come check that
What?
out.
Hey, are they getting paid? Are they getting paid? No, not paid?
No.
Okay.
No,
But that's super cool, man.
Yeah, it's gonna
this
be
is
super fun.
amazing.
It's an exhibition game. The Menace is doing really well. Ty's getting a ton of playing time. Ty's doing really well. Tate, being 17, he's trying to crack his way in, and he's working hard and doing the things he's supposed to. But he's 17, trying to beat out 24, 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult for him.
Now, I got another strange question, because local kids playing on the Menace is kind of rare.
Yeah.
Have there ever been local brothers on the roster together? There's no way.
No, I doubt it. Well, the Motersons, if you're a Roosevelt guy, Ross. Seth and Mark Moterson back in the day.
Okay.
I said to Ty after he scored his first goal, I think we might be the first and only father-son that have ever scored for the Menace.
How about that?
Wow.
So
little Ken Griffey situation going on over here.
Working on it, and the younger one's coming up. So yeah, this Saturday is an exhibition game. The Menace is doing really, really well, so it's a great opportunity for the starters who aren't from Iowa to sit a little bit and not play as much. So from what Ty's telling me, they're hoping to have like an all Iowa roster for this exhibition game this weekend.
Oh, very cool.
So
wow, how far that's
it'll
come.
be great. Yeah,
wow.
it'll be fun. So let's
be
pack
careful.
Valley Stadium.
Be careful though. One good kid, you get to call yourself Ken Griffey. Two good kids, you're now Lonzo Ball. So
I don't know if I want to be Lonzo.
Okay.
Don't know if I want to be Lonzo.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it,
guys.
Thanks, brother.
Brian Duax from Central City Liquors. And that's just a small portion of what recruiting is like, right? I mean, it's just crazy. Now, we were talking about Bo Bassett and his decommitment because God talked to him and his parents talked to him. But let's be honest, because you haven't signed a piece of paper, because you have not signed a national letter of intent or whatever they're calling them anymore, you can continue to get recruited. But as we've seen in the NIL world and the transfer portal, we know, and coaches have talked about it, how kids are getting recruited during the season, and coaches hear about it. It's the ugly little part of college athletics that is tampering now. Ross, Wisconsin, over the weekend, filed a lawsuit against the University of Miami for tampering. Now, this goes back to a player, Xavier Lucas, who signed a 2-year NIL agreement with Wisconsin. And when you sign an NIL deal with Wisconsin, they basically they sign you to a deal, agree to the money, and they own all your NIL rights, meaning they can promote you how they want to promote you, but you're getting paid. Actually, I think that's a lot easier because it just takes everything out of a student's hands, right? You're like, oh, I don't have to worry about this. Well, he gets to December, wants to go in the transfer portal, and Wisconsin says, no, you don't get to go to the transfer portal. You signed a 2-year deal. You're going to honor that agreement. Kid says, screw it. I'm not in the transfer portal. I don't care. I'm going to Miami. So he never went through the portal, never officially separated. He never got permission to go in the portal, goes to Miami, and Wisconsin says, you know what? You tampered. And we're going to sue you over this. The Big Ten is backing Wisconsin in this. And I guarantee there's a lot of coaches who are quiet right now, kind of like when Jim Harbaugh got caught stealing plays. It's the dirty little secret. Every coach said, we all do it, right? It's kind of like, but now people are watching back go, if Wisconsin wins this, it could open a floodgate of lawsuits just to come. Do you like the fact that Wisconsin is suing Miami for tampering?
Sure.
So do I.
Sure. Were there? This is that thing. I think it was. I keep crediting it to Jamie Pollard, but it might have been Brian Harden that talked to us about that. Everybody gets in the room and agrees to rules. And they shake hands and go, "All right, guys, yeah, we agree." And they turn around and go, "All right, I know how to get around the rules. I just made the rule, so I know the loophole." So this is the way to stop that. It's for one of those people to finally stand up and go, "Nope, we agreed to rules." Now, you're right. Everybody is going, shut up.
Well, there's two things that you have to follow here. Is if Miami wins this, the transfer portal's null and void.
It means then it goes to that thing that I said last week of like, why do we even have these rules?
Yeah.
Why is there a window? What does that mean? Why phone can't ring on Tuesday? Phone can ring on Wednesday, but as soon as the deadline starts, all these contracts that take weeks to negotiate are done. Just like in the NFL. We just talked about Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I had no idea that he was married to some girl from West Des Moines Valley. That's wild. This stuff happens in the NFL all the time, every year. Free agency starts at 10 o'clock, 10:01. This quarterback has just agreed to a 9-year, $400 trillion deal. I'm sure that they just called him and said, hey, we got an idea. And he said, sign it.
Now, I will say this, the difference being is that I don't think a lot of that takes place during the season in the NFL. I think because free agency usually starts like 2 weeks, after the season or whatever it is. I think it happens in that 2-week window to where
we all know what happened in Miami, right? We all know what happened in Miami on the yacht and Tom Brady and the coaches. That you don't get caught the first time you do something. You said it here. This is all saying the quiet part out loud where it's like, hey, shut up. We're all doing it. Yeah, how do we know Miami was doing that? Because our yacht was parked next to them. How do we know these guys are breaking the rules? Because we're standing in the same line with them.
I don't know how much money Xavier Lucas got from Wisconsin for his year. But Wisconsin, maybe to go in here, Ross, and this goes back to what I say to damages, right? Is that, if you want to repay what we gave you, that's fine. There's a penalty here. But the fact that we made a commitment, a financial commitment, and you just walk away without fulfilling that, we want something in return. This is why I like the idea of getting rid of when you're really ready to commit, both parties come to the table, understanding it, and probably the best way to get around this and get rid of the transfer portal and everything like that is, and they don't want to do this, you become an employee.
Well, okay, so we're saying, we keep saying this phrase, they're saying the quiet part out loud. We keep blazing right past part of this headline, part of this story that deserves a little pause and maybe a long pause. In a landmark moment in college athletics, one university has filed suit against another for poaching a college football player under contract. Period. Next paragraph. Hold on. What were those last 3 words?
Under contract?
Player under contract? That sounds like an employee.
I'm with you. Well, the contract is we own your rights.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's not. It was never for playing football. And they were very adamant to say the contract was never for production or for playing football. It was for your NIL, because that was the wiggle room.
This is the shell game that gets people in trouble. This is the shell game that it works for a while. It works. And you'll get a lot of people that will repeat it. You'll get a lot of sports fans. It'll be like, well, they're not employees. They're just under contract. They're just players under contract. What does that mean? It means you're an employee. That means in some manner, you're an employee. You have somebody that's giving you money and they have expectations for that money. Man, I ain't college graduated, but I was an Eastsider. And I know that means you work for somebody. If somebody says, I'm going to pay you money if you do this thing, and by the way, here's paperwork that says, I'm going to pay you if you do that thing, and you sign that paper, you call it what you want. That's your boss. Well, we technically are coworkers, and we work with each other, not for each. It's a shell game, and it's all going to get you guys in trouble over time. In a landmark moment in college athletics, one university has filed lawsuit against another for poaching a college football player under contract. Let me just change some words in that opening paragraph, okay? One company is suing another company for breach of contract. One company is hired another company's employee, and that employer, they're afraid that employee brought some of his information over. So they're suing that. They're suing. That happens a lot. Why is this a landmark thing? Because for the first time, we're starting to break down that stupid veil that's been there between colleges, institutions of higher learning, athletic departments, and what they are, businesses, competing entities.
And this is why, if you just if you're just upright, honest, and call it what it is, you can get rid of a lot of this. You're an employee. Let these players collective bargain. Again, 10 years ago, I'm against this.
Yeah.
But the road we're going down, this is the best way to do it, is to make them employees, is to let these guys have a union, collective bargain, so you kind of know what those fair games are. But instead, you start moving words around. Well, the contract was for NIL rights. It wasn't. I mean, so now we're getting into. You're just opening up more vagueness and moving the shells around.
Mental gymnastics. You're doing the mental gymnastics to get around calling things what they should have always been called. Because, again, being mean, because we've all been brainwashed. We've all been brainwashed into repeating some of this stupid phrasing that's out there. Oh, look at this little bit.
What is she doing up? She needs to go back to bed. She didn't have any school today.
No school today. Why are you up so early?
And that is why this is going to be a very well followed lawsuit. There are going to be universities that are paying attention to this, because if Miami wins, it changes the game. It changes the game. If Wisconsin wins, it changes the game.
That's what I was going to get to, Travis, and I want you to kind of break this down for us a little bit, because we got it maybe here in this next minute. So you're right. If Miami wins, then the transfer portal means nothing. The window means nothing.
Every player can go, oh, that guy just left. I can leave whenever I want.
But what does it mean if Wisconsin wins?
To me, it shows that these contracts will be binding, and that you just can't get up and leave without said services. Now, or at least fulfilling your obligation, because you are under contract. That's why I never signed a contract at iHeart. There was a number of reasons why I didn't do it. I didn't like the verbiage on it. And the verbiage was they owned everything I did outside of iHeart. And I was like, I'm never going to sign this. Why would I give away my digital input, my digital footprint? You don't own me. And I took that stance because A, I wasn't a full-time employee, and B, I was doing all that stuff before I started with iHeart. You don't get to own stuff that I did before. So I held to my guns, but I also knew as a part-time at-will employee, I could be let go at any time. I wasn't, but I could have been. Well, I was once. But there was no way I was going to sign a bad
Two times.
So, but if Miami wins, then this is going to be very, very interesting on the way the transfer portal is viewed, on the way these contracts are viewed, I still think over time, contracts will become binding if you word them right and have the right verbiage in there to say, hey, if you want to leave, that's fine, but there is a buyout penalty. And either you have to pay for it or the school who's taking you has to. And this is the other thing I said. If a school poaches you, if Miami wants Xavier Lucas, okay, that's fine. You can have him. But you have to pay us
There's
what
a buyout.
you're paying him, the buyout, but it's subtracted from your $20.5 million. That's what I forgot to say.
That's a good one, Travis, that it comes essentially off of that salary cap.
Yes.
You can't call your big donor and say, hey, we just found out we can get Bo Bassett from Iowa, but we have to buy him. We don't have to give him $5 million right now in the NIL, but we have to buy out Iowa's $5 million. You can't do that. That's got to come out of your $20 million salary cap or whatever we're calling
that.
this.
That will keep you from tampering or going after players that you better make sure, right? If it comes out of your salary cap, then that's a bigger penalty.
I keep going back to this thing, Trav. I don't know that I like any of the rules that my own brain comes up with. Every time I'm like, you know what we should do? The other side of my brain goes, no, that's a stupid rule too.
And you know why Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA works? Is because you're talking with 32 teams, right? I mean, you're talking and it's structured. Here you're talking 300 schools.
This is what Jamie Pollard. That's the another again. I quote Jamie a lot because he's a really smart guy. Jamie, I'm going to give you a magic wand. How do you fix this? I have to go backwards. We can't fix this because it's not set up like those things. We're not all one team.
Yeah, you're not comparing apples to oranges.
Not at all. And
apples to apples.
Yeah, you hear that and you go, oh, he's right. The store has been given away.
515-517-2303. We'll take a break. Come back for the last half hour of the show on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
So, you're driving along the road and minding your own business when a thought pops into your head.
When's the last time I had my alignment checked?
You know it's important. Poor alignment can impact your tire wear, your grip on the road, and even your gas mileage. But just as your mind starts to ache and the sweat starts to pool around your lower back, you remember, I service my car at Willis Cadillac in Clive, Iowa, and they check the alignment for free with the purchase of any service. And the serenity of that thought frees you once again. Give us a call or head online to williscadillac.com to schedule your appointment today.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Getting ready for the 4th of July, folks. You might be starting to see some fireworks go off now, but not in great quantity. Most people are kind enough to wait till the 4th of July, but if you need to stock up on your fireworks, do not delay. Go to the Iowa Fireworks Farm because they love the 4th of July. We love the 4th of July, and the Iowa Fireworks Farm has every firework you can imagine. Let's just call it a bumper crop of fireworks at dirt cheap prices.
Bumper crop of boomers, baby. And not a far drive at all, man. About 25, 30 minutes straight south on I-35. Get off on that New Virginia exit, and you will see their 6,000 square foot warehouse. A bunch of those products, Travis, they've got like a little QR code on them. You pull your phone up, and you get to watch a video of what you're going to see. So, like, he sent us a video of the rabbit hole, right? He sent us a picture of, he's got one that's called the rabbit hole. And for 30, what was it? For $30, it's about
$39.99 or something like that.
It's about
$34.99.
35, 40 second show. So imagine that over the course of about 35 seconds, it's going to shoot off 18 different fireworks into the air. And that's that gives you an idea. But again, it sets your expectations. I love that.
We want to incentivize you a little bit too, because we're going to be giving away another $50 gift certificate this week. I texted Ken Payne, or wrote him this morning, said, hey, I need last week's winner. So we'll announce last week's winner tomorrow. We'll give another $50 gift certificate away this week. So go to therushradio.com. That's therushradio.com. Click on the promotions tab, fill out your name, your email address, your telephone number, and you might be the lucky winner. And, of course, the week of the 4th of July, we'll give away the grand prize winner, which is The Godfather, an assortment of fireworks that you can celebrate the 4th of July on and celebrate America. Celebrate America at the Iowa Fireworks Farm, and do that today. So,
dude, Ramona Barbara is more famous than me and you combined.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
Like, my phone's blowing up with people like, dude, she helped me and my kids. She's amazing.
So now you know where to take Eli. Maybe we'll get a freebie for you.
Yeah, there we go. Work the angles, Trav.
You know, we've been talking about lawsuits, and it was a busy weekend of lawsuits. Michigan, Ross, has introduced a bill in its state legislature to ban reporting of NIL deals to the NCAA and the College Sports Commission. So we've been talking about Deloitte and how they have to rubber stamp all these NIL deals. Well, in the state of Michigan, they're saying not just at the University of Michigan, but Michigan State, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, every directional Michigan school, you don't have to report these NIL deals. And in fact, the bill goes even farther, saying you don't have to assist the NCAA in investigating their programs for said wrongdoing. Because you know how you get bonus points if you were cooperative. Oh, they were very cooperative, so we're not gonna hammer them as much. This bill, if passed, would keep Michigan State from reporting NIL deals to the NCAA and the College Sports Commission. If they get in trouble for cheating or doing something wrong, they don't have to assist the NCAA in helping them out. It's somewhat similar to a Tennessee law where the school reserves to receive from collectives unless told by a Fed. So in Tennessee, there's a law that says you don't have to report NIL deals unless you're told by federal law. If federal law comes out saying this happens,
they supersede us.
Yes, then that we can't stop that. But since there's no federal law at this point, our schools don't have to report. Why would we do that? And will those Tennessee schools do that?
I mean, Trevor, so Tennessee already has a law like this in place, similar.
Yes.
But does that, how often?
Well, hell, before you didn't have to report NIL deals. Remember, we were all like, where's the transparency here?
But this is bigger than just the NIL deals. I mean, when they're saying they're trying to strip NCAA of almost all authority there.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to even help with their investigations unless the federal government steps in and says you have to give them information. All right. They're public institutions. They don't have to be a part of the NCAA. Is this
part of the SEC? And the SEC saying, oh, you're going to go along with this. Right? I mean,
boy. Again, let me quote Jamie Pollard. Boy, we're going to find out who's in charge of what.
We knew there would be more lawsuits because of the House settlement. These types of lawsuits aren't the ones that I expected, but they rarely are. You tried to foresee the future. There's no fortune telling here. No fortune telling.
I'm more confused by it.
I would agree with you on that.
So if Tennessee football tampers, right? They go get Nico back. Right here, that's the big June surprise. Right before July 1st, Tennessee says, hey, everybody, guess what? We landed Nico again. Came back at a discounted rate of only $2 million. Then UCLA says, wait, they tampered with our guy. They broke the rules. Tennessee can just go na-na boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo.
I don't know if Tennessee goes as far as the Michigan law, but because Tennessee right now has they don't have to they reserve the right to keep, like, under the House settlement, all NIL deals above $600 have to be
cleared
through Deloitte.
Yeah.
What they're saying is
you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
Screw
you want to
Deloitte.
make a deal, you go make a deal.
Yes.
Michigan is going with that and one more.
Okay, they're saying we're NCAA doesn't. You don't have to. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you were saying Tennessee. That's why you said Tennessee's law is similar. No, it's
similar.
not the same thing. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So Michigan will eventually be able to just
nana boo boo. It's the Eddie Murphy line from Beverly Hills Cop. Wasn't me, or was that Raw, or I forget what kind of. Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
See, I think of that as a Shaggy line. It wasn't me. She
Just
got me on
buckle
the
up, because come
sofa.
July 1st, it's going to get even more weird. And we've spent a lot of time talking about this, and we're not done talking about it. There will be something new, maybe daily, from this. And the lawsuits won't just be from the universities or the states. You're going to get players filing lawsuits.
Yeah, it's first time a deal. Brad Heinrichs has warned us of this. What authority does Deloitte actually have? We're going to find out who's in charge of what. The first time that they say no to something, buckle up. Buckle up. First time they say no to something, lawsuit. And I mean, let's just say let's use Brian Duax right there. Let's say his son, whatever, a Division I school says, hey, we'd like to pay it. And Deloitte says, no, you don't get to do that deal. It's too much money for a soccer player.
Well, who says we have the money? We're willing to part with said money.
Who
Our
says
collective is
and a law firm out on the East Coast who was granted that authority. That's who says. Granted that authority by who? This NCAA group. Thought the Supreme Court said that they weren't supposed to do that. And a
where
boo-boo.
this all
Man and a boo-boo. Stick
and
your
this
head
is
in
why
doo-doo.
I don't care. I do agree with the transparency, and I don't care how much you pay somebody. But I think what coaches were getting frustrated by is players are telling me this. We don't know if it's true. It's a game of poker, right?
You said buckle up because it's going to get crazier. Is there a chance that it actually does calm down, that we actually do get some sort of is there a chance that this does work out and that in a month we're like, or 6 months, a year, you and I are wrong a lot. We admit it. And when we're wrong, we come back later and go, holy cow, look how stupid I was. Do you think what's the probability that a year from now we look at this and go, damn, this Deloitte thing was the answer. They really solved a lot of this stuff.
Well, I think we have to look at it through two different lenses. And that is, if it works fine for football and basketball, we're all happy.
Right. That's a great point. If it happens to the Duax family and it's a soccer thing, it's going to be us.
Yes.
Talking to our 3,000 people every day.
Women's basketball or volleyball or something like that. Then you're going to go, you're insignificant. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
As long as my football team keeps getting its players, that's all I care about. As long as my basketball team keeps getting its players, that's all I care about. So it's two different lenses you have to look at it through.
Yeah. And I was trying to look at it through the one big, giant happy lens that all the animals on the farm get treated the same.
Yeah,
and I know that's not the case. I know it's not the case.
You were a season ticket holder at the University of Iowa for a while, right?
Yes, I was.
So Texas A&M this is Lawsuit Monday. Lawsuit Monday. There are a group of fans, and this has been going on since like 2011, but it got through the final stage to where they can go to court. There are a group of fans that are suing the Texas A&M 12th Man Foundation, which is one of the most powerful foundations in college sports. Ross, this goes to, you made me promises when you came and asked me for money, and you changed the deal, meaning I got my season tickets, and because now I don't give at a certain donor level, you're changing the rule on me. And season tickets were taken away, seats were taken away because you didn't contribute. Though when you originally gave, you signed a lifetime or promised a lifetime of this, or a 30-year deal, whatever it was. It was kind of both of those. And they reneged on it. And they took their seats away. These seats are believed to be valued at like $4.6 million right now. Now, 3 of the fans have died, but there's still people that are involved with this. If you're promised something at a certain donor level, you should be able just live with it until they pay. I have no problem with the university saying you can't pass along tickets to family members. Once you die, you're out. I have no problem with that. I do have a problem with the university coming back and say, well, we told you this, but the rules have changed and we're taking your tickets away because you're not giving at this donor level now. Because now we're dealing with mega donors. Just wait for them to pass on. It'll happen eventually.
It's been going on since 2011 already.
Yes.
I've drugged this thing out for 14 freaking years, dude.
And a judge finally said, no, this can go to court. Did you make a promise back in 2008, 2009 that said these guys could have these seats for a lifetime? Well, yes. But the game has changed. The stadium's expanded. They still have seats. They just don't have the seats what they purchased before the stadium expansion. I'm sure there's been Iowa fans who've been moved around the stadium. I'm sure there's been Iowa States who've been moved around.
We got moved around the stadium, and we knew it was because we were the poorest guys in the room. We were doing the bare minimum to get in the door, and so they put us under the water tower. That's fine. You know where we were? We were in the building. We were in 101, and we made T-shirts about it, and we turned it into an absolute party. And their loss for shoving us into the corner because damn did we have a good time. Right? That was how we looked at it. You kind of knew, I guess that was part of the deal, but this goes beyond that. This is also part of the game, man.
It's part of money. But if you I do agree if you were promised something, said, hey,
totally. And I'm with you. I agree with everything you said there, Trav. I agree with everything you said. I don't think you should be able to hand off your tickets to...
Because that's a monopoly on it.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to keep your donor level, that's fine. This is what your seats are going to cost. You don't get the same deal that mom and dad got because they were smart enough to purchase 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 100 years ago. You don't get to do that.
It's not sustainable. We can't. The costs keep going up drastically. But I also do find the irony. And boy, I've been told my whole life about how Texas A&M and the 12th man, that's different. That's a different relationship between fan and university. You don't understand because you don't get to wear that purple color, whatever color that is, whatever they call that.
Maroon.
Sure. Yeah. Reddish, purplish thing. And you don't know. You don't get it. I'm always trying to call bullshit on that thing, right? Of like, hey, we're special. Why are you special? You don't get it. This guy back here, he doesn't understand the 12th man. Have you ever been there? You mean the organization that's being sued by its members? Cool. The Big Ten, that's different. The SEC, the Big 12, the Pac-12. You don't understand. You don't understand. If you were on the West Coast, you'd get it. The Pac-12 going away. These guys love each other. It's a brotherhood of teams.
Tony,
what's that money? Money? Oh, then fuck your relationships and your partnerships and it's about money. I can get more money.
Tony says, similar situation explains conundrum trying to reseat Carver Hawkeye. I thought about season men's basketball tickets, took a look at the ticket site. Price of tickets just the beginning, became cost prohibitive very, very quickly. Yeah, because it's not the cost of the ticket, it's the cost of the seat license to get said ticket.
And over time, then, Travis, it becomes way more than that, too. It becomes the cost of an entire Saturday. I loved my time at Kinnick. I'm not downplaying having season tickets. I loved it. I would sign up for it if we weren't doing sound off and all that. It would really be something I'd consider doing with Eli. I love it. But what happens is not just the ticket price part of it, but it is all of these other costs that add into it. At some point, you look at the budget and you go, all right, so it's gas over there. It's all the tailgating supplies. It's my entire Saturday. For me, it would be a day of not being able to do real estate. There's a cost.
And Saturdays are busy in the real estate.
Saturdays, especially in the fall. So all that stuff adds up for everybody. But again, the irony that drips off of that is the 12th man's different. 12th man's different. Until you don't have a big enough check. And then it's the exact same. I wondered what it's interesting. I had not heard that Texas A&M.
Yeah. So. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever lose at Las Vegas yesterday. Caitlin 1 of 10 from behind 3-point line. She had 19 points. She had 10 assists, but the Fever just cannot beat the Las Vegas Aces. Just cannot beat them. I think it's the 5 in a row going back to last year. Lost like 15 in the last 16, something of that number. And they can't finish games on the West Coast. They had a lead against Golden State, lost it in the fourth, got outscored big time in the fourth quarter yesterday. Just they're 6-7 now. So is your interest waning?
Travis, let's be honest. My interest never waxed.
Yeah. I mean, when Caitlin has a big game, you're like, okay, I'll pay attention.
I'm happy, and I get the text and go, hey, Caitlin's going off, and I'll reach over and grab the remote, and if it's on my Hulu package and ESPN and all that, I'm watching it. I didn't even know they played last night. 1 of 10. Dang. They're going to be hard. I know enough to know it's going to be hard for Indiana to win when Caitlin Clark goes 1 of 10 from 3-point range. And especially against a team like Las Vegas, which I also know to be one of the best teams in the WNBA. I think I just exhausted what I would call my expertise.
That's probably more than most. Just
I did see you put something on the rundown about boxing. What the hell?
But I want to save that for tomorrow.
Oh, okay,
because
okay.
This is a longer
Okay, sorry.
conversation about boxing,
All right.
and it may be good for boxing, but I find it interesting. It has to do with Saudi money.
Okay.
But nobody's complaining like they did with Live Golf. But
Hmm.
it is there's a fight coming up in September between Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford. Going to be a great fight.
Oh, Bud Crawford, Omaha boy.
Yeah, he's amazing, but there's been an incentive on there, and it's just to tease everybody. The guy who's promoting it wants to get rid of Tom and Jerry fighting, so they're going to go the UFC route and put a bonus for a knockout.
Okay, we'll talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, because to me, boxing is one of those, and it's ironic that it popped up this time because. I was just kind of scrolling through Twitter this weekend.
For Bud, Canelo, there's a lot of meat on this bone. I like this.
I watched a replay of the Thomas Hearns Sugar Ray Leonard 2 fight, and just go back and watch some of the Leonard Hearn fight.
No, Hagler Hearns. Hagler Hearns round 1 is the greatest round of boxing.
Yes, but I mean, there was a time where you're like, I got to watch the fight.
Yeah.
Now it's like.
Guys will throw 17 punches in a round.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to bring up, we got time for one little quick rabbit hole story. All right. This is petty showing itself in sports. So Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers in Game 6. They wrap up the Stanley Cup. A tweet comes out the other day from one of the Florida Panthers' girlfriends of a bunch of the players eating sushi, a bunch of sushi. Here's the funny part of it. A Florida restaurant, let it be known, a Fort Lauderdale restaurant, let it be known that Edmonton had actually reached out about renting his restaurant after they won the series. When the series was tied at 2 games apiece, they booked his restaurant in Florida for a Game 6 celebration after they had won the Cup. Florida, of course, goes on to win games 5 and 6. This word gets out. So just in a show of how petty we are, they went and bought a bunch of sushi and posted on Instagram.
You know, I know it seems looking ahead, but you kind of got a plan like that.
You do. But it is funny. When it bites you in the bass like this, it's funny.
Don't forget, if you have an Apple phone, download the TuneIn app and just search The Rush Radio Show and bookmark us, and you can use the Rush Radio Show on your Apple CarPlay, on your Android Auto. We are now live on the TuneIn app. We are back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Enjoy your Monday, everybody. Have a great one. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Don't you hate when you're on a road trip and you want to stop somewhere to get something to eat, but you need to take a look at the menu first? Here at Willis Nissan, we decided to implement some menus to make servicing your car easier and more efficient. Our menu offers good, better, and best packages based off of your mileage of your vehicle. And we're offering 10% off the entire menu for the month of June if you mention this ad. Feel free to make an appointment at willisnissan.com or walk on in and make sure that your car is ready for the road trips that you're going on this summer.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbock to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.